Hi everyone, this is Larisse on our Friday live chats, and today we're talking to Judy Bettiol in Sydney, aren't you? You're in Sydney, yes.
Yes.
Yes, and Judy's a mum of three.
Two
adult girls. Yeah, and she's into health and wellness. She's experienced some issues in her lifetime, and we'll chat to how she's overcome them, and what her passion is helping other people with health and wellness as well. And the industry she's joined up in, and she's become a very big earner in this business, and it's all about helping others achieve their dreams as well. So hi Judy, how are you today?
Hi Larisse, thank you so much for having me on today. It's lovely to be here.
You're welcome. I'm excited to hear what you have to say. So I've known you from this company called Inner Origin, and you've done a lot of training in different areas, but I would like to know where you started from, and with your health issues, how you overcome them, and what led you to this path.
Okay.
Too many questions.
It is. Well, we'll start when I was 14. I was diagnosed as a migraine sufferer. So I suffered migraines for many, many years. And through those migraines, I went to many holistic doctors and learnt what I couldn't eat. And around about 23 years of age, I went through a little bit of a crisis with a relationship, and we broke up, and I consequently lost a lot of weight. And then I went on a cruise and ate lots, and came back and found that within 2 weeks I'd put on a lot of weight. Well, to me it was a lot of weight, but for others it may not have been. But for me, that's always been slim. It seemed a lot to me. But unfortunately, I started to become a bulimia sufferer. And I think that also stems from, as a child, I was very, very shy. I lived in a country town in Victoria, and if you said boo to me, I'd just blush. And I always hid behind everyone, and so I was picked on because that was what I was putting out, just being so shy. And I was an easy target. So I was a bulimia sufferer from 23 round to about 30. So it wasn't pleasant. The last 2 years, it scaled back a bit, but it certainly is not something that I'm proud of. But it really stems from me and my confidence, and what I felt that I believed in, and just my mindset just wasn't in a good place. And I didn't know what I know now, because I've since done a lot of work on myself. So and then I fell pregnant, and then I stopped, thank goodness. So I'll just go back a little bit. I started as a legal secretary. I was an aerobics instructor. I've always been into health and wellness. I've always trained at the gym or done Pilates or some form of exercise. So I've always had that mindset. And even when my two daughters were born, I'd have them in the creche, and I'd be at the gym. And my husband and I, we've owned and operated many businesses and been quite successful. But on that journey, I was introduced when my daughters were Australian champions in athletics. I was introduced to a network marketing company back then, 14 years ago, and that also helped with their well-being, because what I found was in the soils, it's very, very depleted, because we turn over the soil so much. And so they were tested, and they were a little bit deficient in some of their minerals and antioxidants. So then I then put them on some supplementation, and that helped them immensely, and helped their in their success with athletics. And yes, but the trouble was that although we're in business and leading a fairly busy lifestyle, I was still quite shy and still quite within myself, and still didn't have a lot of confidence. So I used to hide up in the accounts room and do all the accounts, and my husband used to always want me to come out in the showroom, and I never wanted to. But when I did come out, I used to sell. I was good at selling, but I didn't like. I didn't feel comfortable. But getting back to the network marketing, I was successful. I was, put on a lot of people quite quickly. I helped duplicate and I helped build. And I still didn't present, but my husband used to present on my behalf. And then from then I was introduced to another company, which is Inner Origin, which you can see on the screen. And I knew the CEO and co-founder. I met her 6 years ago, and a couple of years prior to when they launched, she said, "Judy, I've got something for you." And I said, "Oh, okay, well, do tell." She said, "No, I'm going to tell you when we launch." And the reason why she thought of me was because I have lived this health and wellness lifestyle for so long, and I have lived and breathed health and wellness, but I felt very, very disempowered for a long, long time. And disempowered meaning that truth and transparency on the label. For a long time, I'd have to look at Bill Statham. He's also got an app called The Chemical Maze. Oh. So you can imagine having young children and in the supermarket and trying to look at products and then having a look at the ingredients, and then trying to have my book there, because back then there wasn't the app, and trying to research what was in the ingredients. And I found it very, very frustrating and very, very disempowering. And also quite often they'd say natural, or they say organic, and what I've found, it might only have 1%, and they can call it organic. And so there's a lot of greenwashing out there, and it's deceiving and it's frustrating. And so, and my girls had a couple of allergies too, so I found it really, really hard. And then also my mother-in-law was diagnosed in 2010 with a very aggressive ovarian cancer. We've sort of got it a little bit late, and she was only given 2 months to live. And so we just, all systems, we just kicked in, and we then looked in from her hairspray to her hair shampoo, to her makeup, to her skincare, to what she put in the bath. And we had to, what's called is crowd in and crowd out. And I just wished that Inner Origin had been available to us back then, but it wasn't. So there again, we had to look up the Chemical Maze, and we also had to get expert opinions through naturopaths and dietitians and other holistic people to get her body back to alkaline. And that was the key. And she was of Italian descent. So, they used to eat the way they used to eat. That was very healthy. They had vegetables in the garden. But to have change in her 70s was going to be a huge feat. But my husband's an only child, and he asked her, would she mind to have a lifestyle change? And she said, I'll do anything, son. So that was really good. So then we crowded in, crowded out. And after 2 months of when she was supposed to be technically going to die, she rang up my husband and said, Tino, I can't feel my arthritis. And we were so excited, because she's suffered from arthritis for many, many years. And it was because of the diet and what we did, and having no toxins in her mouth, on her skin, and around her home, from her skincare to cleaning products to everything. So, she felt really, really good. And but sadly, after 2 years, she did pass away, but 6 months prior, we went overseas and we came back and we saw all this sugar creeping into her diet. And so my husband said, "What do you want, Mum? Do you want, do you want lifestyle, or do you want to live longer?" And she basically said, "Well, son, I've done everything that you asked from me the last, year and a half." She said, "But I love my sugar. I was brought up with no sugar. I'm not going to die with no sugar. So this is my life." And he says, "Yeah, that's fine." So she was gone after 2 years, but and her arthritis came back and the cancer. Yeah.
Yeah. It's very daunting about what in the products and what's around our home that we don't realise is making us sick. And everyone you talk to is all, "Oh, you're getting older. That's what you expect for old age, and this is what's going to happen." All these things, and I get my back up every time someone says that. So it's nothing to do with age. It's about how you live, what you eat, what you do, you exercise, all that type of thing. And I think slowly people are starting to realise that, especially when there's great companies like Origin out there promoting health on the inside and the outside. And and I have heard about the soil being so depleted. People say, "Oh, I grow my own vegetables, or I go and get veggies and I eat lots of fruit and veggies." And yeah, but they don't have any goodness in them anymore, and then they're covered with pesticides as well. So it's really an eye-opener when you find out about all this stuff. Because when I looked at Origin and I thought, "This is fantastic. Yep, I'm in. This aligns with me as well." And I've learnt so much about nutrition and what's in our products and what shouldn't be in our products. Yeah, and that maze of reading the labels and trying to decipher. Because I had to do that for a short time because I had something I needed to not eat certain things, and you spent hours reading these labels and you still couldn't figure out if it was the one you had supposed to have or not. So this is where Origin really does make it easy. It's
And
so
they
good.
do. So what they do, we support Australian products. So there's wonderful merchants here, Larisse, that have suffered or their family have suffered from some disease or autoimmune, and so suddenly they start to research and then they create these phenomenal products. And a lot of them are not in mainstream supermarkets, because they actually drive them down to the lowest denominator in dollars, and it's just not profitable for them to make them. And so what I love about Origin is we search, review, and select the very best products. Now, what do I mean by that? Well, we don't want to have 20,000 products on our platform. At the moment, we've got 1,700 and it's growing. But we want, maybe one or two skincare or one or two makeup, and we want choice. But with the choice, the suppliers have to divulge each and every ingredient and the country of origin. So when you shop at Origin, you can tap onto the product and it will tell you all of that and so much more. But we go one step further, Larisse. As you know, we have an expert product advisory board, and they agree to disagree whether it comes on the platform. Now, if we've got a couple of skincare and then another company wants to join us, because we used to go and search and look for fantastic products, but now companies are coming to us and they want to sit on our platform. And so if we don't need another skincare, well, we actually say, well, what's your point of difference? Is it efficacious? Does it have the right amount of ingredients in there to be efficacious? Is it scientifically proven? And if it is scientifically proven, have you got the right amount of ingredients to do that? So, so I'll give you one little example. We had a company, about 12 months ago that wanted to hop on our platform, and we found a nasty in there. And they had no idea that this one ingredient was not going to pass on in Origin. So they said, look, we'll do whatever it takes. So what they did, Larisse, at a cost to them, they went back, they reformulated, and they took that out, and we told them what ingredient to use. And they did that, but they not only did that for Inner Origin, but they also supplied to spas around the world. So that's what Inner Origin did without anyone else knowing. So we are very, very strict. And I don't know of any other company in the world that is actually doing what we're doing. There's some great online platforms that say they're organic and they're, you know, all natural or whatever, but they only look at the label. And unfortunately, you cannot trust the label anymore. And that's what we've found. And, you know, so, you know, the health food stores and other, you know, holistic practitioners, you know, they think that they're everything's okay, but you know, when they read the label and they actually go back to the merchant, sometimes it's not what they think it is. So we do all the hard work for them, which I absolutely love.
Yeah, it's great because you can drop down a bar on the website page or on your page and say, okay, if I'm a paleo, on a paleo diet, it'll come down what's good for paleo. Oh, I'm gluten free. This comes down what's good for gluten free. And all that type of thing. So it makes it definitely so much easier than trying to figure it out in the shops and wasting all that time.
Yes, sorry.
And at this day and age, and at this time, we don't want to be hovering around the shops too much, do we?
No, not at all. Well, especially if you've got young children, and also for you know, people that want to fall pregnant. It's very important before they fall pregnant to detox and so get rid of all these toxins. But they don't know. They've got all these products in their cupboards and they just don't know. They don't know what they don't know.
Right.
And also it's Inner Origin's wonderful, absolutely for everyone, but it's also wonderful for young mums with babies, you know, and they're putting, unbeknownst to them, they're putting toxic products on their skin, from their massage oil to, you know, their cleansing products to their hair shampoo. And it just, you know, it just goes right across the platform. And young mums aren't aware because they read the labels and they think, oh, this must be okay. It's got organic splash right across the top, and it's in green, and it looks all okay, but they don't know. And so this Inner Origin is for absolutely everyone. And what I also love, Louise, is it's all at recommended retail price or less. I love that.
Go on.
So Inner Origin, we've also got a campaign, and wouldn't you like to know what's in your fragrances? So that is really, really scary when you think about fragrances, because just about everything has fragrance in it. And it's chemicals and toxicity. And Harvard did a study, and 98% of people either have chronic that causes chronic disease and toxicity is what you put in your mouth, on your skin, and around your home. 98% of chronic diseases stem from toxicity and inflammation. That is really scary, Louise. And I wonder why, you know, we're having an increase on our autoimmune, you know. We're wondering why we've got PCOS. We're wondering why there's an increase in diabetes and all these other autoimmune diseases. And, you know, we can swap out and swap in, and that can have a huge effect on your chemical toxicities and your inflammation, because inflammation is toxicity. But most people don't know. So
and it's really frightening. People are getting these things at a younger, really young age, getting younger and younger, and think, oh, say arthritis is an old person's disease, or cancer could be an old person's disease. But yeah, it's frightening finding that the young ones are getting it. You know, it's even coming to babies and all that, and that's from the toxins that the young mum's got, or any age mum, that not realising. And I found it very interesting when I listened to one of your talks saying that the best way to detox is to have a baby because the poor baby gets all the toxins.
Yes, it goes through. They did a study on 287 man-made synthetic chemicals in the umbilical cord. And like you said, Larissa, you're so spot on. When a mother falls pregnant, if she hasn't changed her lifestyle and doesn't know any different, when she has a baby, through the umbilical cord, all those 287 man-made synthetic chemicals go through to the baby. But that was only 287 man-made chemicals that they tested. Now, they said if they tested 1,000, they would have found 1,000. And so that is very, very scary. And what else is scary, Larice, is that up until the age of 7, children don't detox. So no wonder they're going around with all these allergies because they don't detox they're not capable of detoxing up until the age of 7. So I'm proud to say that I've just studied as a health coach too. So that is really scary also. So we wonder why there's so many allergies out there, because they're man-made. They're man-made.
Yeah, it's definitely
and as adults, obviously, we've got stress is a common one, and also your Wi-Fi. We're not flying around at the moment, but when we're in airports, that all has an effect too, and obviously the mobile phone.
Yes.
And
we're all attached to that.
Yeah, we are 24/7, absolutely. So, look, Inner Origin is, we launched in Australia because of our CEO and co-founder's brother who was diagnosed with a rare kidney cancer. And they never felt so disempowered themselves because when they started to read the labels. And he's since here today. He actually went on the Gerson therapy. And he's now married and got a child, and he followed that program. But that was the instigator of why Inner Origin was created. And that's why Sally Ann, 2 years before we launched, she said, Judy, you're absolutely going to love this because you've been so frustrated for so many years, like so many other people, and having to go to the chemical maze. And you're going to absolutely love it. So that's how we were created. We started in 2016, and that's in Australia. So we're Australian-owned, Australian company, and then we launched into New Zealand, and then in 2020 we launched into USA and also Japan. And we're supplying through, as customers, we're supplying around the world in other parts of the world. And it's absolutely massive. And over the COVID period, our superfoods just walked out the door. So I know we also joined forces with My Essence. For those who know My Essence or have been using My Essence products before, we joined with Inner Origin, and they just haven't been able to keep up the supply. It's just been incredible. Yeah.
So when you're going, the company going into the other countries, are they using their products, or are you still using Australian products?
No. So what we found, Louise, we found that in their own countries, they're not as strict as what we are. So they're absolutely excited about Australian products. So we've launched with Australian products, but down, in the future, when we get to a certain size, we will be searching and reviewing products in other countries. But we won't, we'll wait until we go to scale before we do that, because they're absolutely loving our products because they're, it's so clean. So,
That's a big
yeah, and I think I was speaking to you just before about an article that's just come out with regards to the FDA. I think it was the 22nd of June. You'll be able to find it. And it's really quite scary that the FDA has been laxed on their top 8 allergens. Now, what do I mean by laxed? Meaning they're not as stringent. They're, because of the ingredients have been harder to, locate they've been allowed over the COVID period to substitute ingredients. So for anyone that's allergenic, and if they substitute one product, and it could be a peanut flour or a peanut oil, that could be absolutely diabolical for anyone out there. And you can ring up the merchant suppliers to see if any of the products have been, swapped out, any of the ingredients. But the trouble is a lot of the merchants then use other sources, so they don't really know. And the FDA have just, put that out, and I find that just so disarming and so alarm bells for many people that have got allergens. It's very sad.
Yeah,
and
if the person's very stringent with what they are eating, they wouldn't be able to go and check what that product was because it's not written on the label.
Exactly right, and especially if it's peanut allergies. And also they're saying that they're more lenient on, if they've got, with peanut allergies, you're not allowed to make anything, in that area if it's got anything to do with peanuts. And they're loosening up they've loosened up that too. So that's very alarming. Yeah.
Yeah, and there's some amazing people. Am I coming across echoey? Because it sounds, I'm hearing it.
No, I'm not. You're hearing it, but I'm not. Yeah.
Okay, good. Yeah, there's some amazing people on the platform as well as ambassadors. There's Lane Beachley, David Wolf.
Yes, David Wolf.
Dr. Sandra Cabot, she's just a darling. I've followed her from way, way, way back with the liver cleansing diet that she was doing.
Yeah.
Who else am I?
Charlie Teo, neurosurgeon.
Yes. And Kirk, can we say his last name?
Kelly.
Kelly.
Kelly, yes.
In excess.
Yeah.
I miss anybody?
There is lots more. There's Roy Jones Jr. He's 9 times world boxing champion, and through allergies, and he's got 4 children, and through allergies, and couldn't work out why his children had allergies. And then when he was introduced to In Origin, he said, "Oh, the pennies dropped. I so need to be an ambassador for this." Helen Padron, who's got a wealth of information. She's a naturopath here in Sydney, highly regarded. And the list goes on. And Pete Evans, some people either like him or don't like him or sit on the fence and not quite sure, but that's okay. They all want truth and transparency on the label, and they love the fact that we're an Australian company taking this to the world because our standards are so high. And just to have a one-stop shop is so comforting for everyone. And like I said, it's recommended retail price, and you don't pay any more. It's they're just, and the products do what they say they do because they have to be efficacious. Efficacious meaning they have to do what they say they're going to do. Yeah.
So this weekend there's an actual extravaganza, or health and wellness extravaganza, or expo.
Yes, there's a wellness summit. Yes,
summit,
we actually did have a WellSpo extravaganza over 2 days, 3 weeks ago, and we had our ambassadors on, and that was absolutely massive. But this weekend's a wellness summit, yes, on Saturday.
Yeah, I'll put a link in the comments for that one because that sounds like it's going to be awesome. It's free to join, isn't it?
Absolutely, love everyone to hop on, and there'll be something there for everyone, from activating a bit of movement at the start, from Barbara Cafagna, who's talking about her story, as a stroke survivor and her journey. We'll also be talking about stress with the beautiful Deborah Courtney, who's a nurse / coach, and also we'll have Saray from South Australia, so make sure you have a wine in hand because she'll be taking you through the winery and talking about all the wonderful organic Australian wine. South Australia. Yeah. It's going to be a wonderful event. So it's from 1 till 2:45.
Yeah, and it's that Saturday afternoon, isn't it?
It is. It's held it's held the last Saturday of every month. We have a wellness summit with different speakers. So there's something for everyone every month. Yeah.
Well, we'll have to promote that every month then, because there's so many people out there who are getting into the health and wellness area because they're realising what they're doing is not helping, or they're feeling so stressed, particularly right now. Businesses are failing, and think, where the heck am I going to go? Like, I know someone who has to move and look for another place to rent, and the prices are so high, she's really stressed out. So it's just happening in every area. So it's so refreshing to know there's a platform out there that helps with our finding the right things to eat that we and put in our body, or even put on our body, and products that we can trust the company. You know, there's no one out there you can really trust. It's really hard to find someone, and you think they're good, then you realise they've been doing something a little bit not quite right. So just knowing there's a company out there that's got truth on label, it's absolute truth on label, and we can totally trust it. And transparency, yes, 100%.
And we're supporting Australian products.
That's right. That's another big factor right now is support Australian products. We don't need to be manufacturing overseas. I suppose we do need some things, but we can sort of do it all ourselves, basically, if we're allowed to.
And just one more thing. Yeah, one more thing, Louise. I love In Origin because we are taking this to the world.
So it's the first company developed in Australia, isn't it, to go overseas?
To take it to the world. So what a wonderful opportunity for anyone out there that wants to, a home-based business and wants to share and authenticity and have these wonderful ambassadors. And just in the back office, the information that any of these products that are there, you can just go in the back office and I can just share with anyone. And, from Dr. Charlie Teo's speech to naturopaths, dietitians, to Dr. Sandra Cabot, it's all there in the back office that I can share at any one time for anyone that wants to know. So you never feel as though, oh my goodness, there's so many products there, I don't think I could ever learn them all, but there's so much information that you can share to each and every one.
Yeah, so if anyone's got a question about any of the products and how can help them with their health wise, just get in touch with either you or I, and we can find the right information to give them so they can make their own opinion about it and try it out.
Absolutely.
So it's,
and I have to see everyone on the Wellness Summit tomorrow.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I love learning all of what's out there, and I'm upping my game as well, because everything just so aligns in what I do. So I'm promoting health and wellness in lots of different areas, and I'm just putting it out there that anyone out there listening who wants to join us in Origin, to contact either Judy or I, and we can steer you in the right path. And also anyone who wants to talk about their own little business and how it's going, and just promote yourself, I'm happy to talk to anyone as well. So it's all out there. And anyone on the replay, if you catch us on the replay, just type in replay underneath and say hi, and we can get back to you and say hi back, and help you with any information that you need. It was such a pleasure talking to you, Judy. I'm sure there's so much more information we could tell everybody. So maybe we might make this a regular thing and get on once a month and have a chat about what's new on the platform and how we can help other people. And we hope to see everybody on the summit tomorrow. I'll put the link in underneath and information about it, so if anyone wants to know a little bit more. So thank you so much, Judy. It was such a pleasure talking to you. And
thank you,
like I said, anyone who wants to talk to us, we're here. We're available. So until next week, we'll find a new person to talk to. But thank you so much, Judy, and have a great weekend, everyone. Bye for now.
Bye-bye.